Okay. Little minor technical difficulties, but I'm here. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Local time is 7:02 p.m., so a little bit behind, but I'm here. For those of you who don't know, I'm Maddie, and I don't have a niche. I have opinions. So, if you're new here, my name is Maddie, and I like to make content based on writing, PC gaming, as well as have open conversations about those things. Yep. My mind drew a little blank. So ADHD, sorry. So today is Blacktober Day 11. It's also Preptober Day 11. But today we're focused on the Blacktober theme of today, which is self-insert. So my activity for today is I decided to do a live reading of one of my favorite fan fictions called Worries. So Worries is part of a fan fiction series called the Key and Kaya Forever series. The Key and Kaya Forever series is a Black Panther fan fiction series about a series of imagines about Nakia and her baby sister Kaya, who is a character I created like 3 years ago based on Lovey Simone. Well, it started off as a Rita Enter character, but then over time she kind of became inspired by Lovey Simone. So Lovey Simone is kind of the face of the character for now. So I'm gonna read the first installment of Words. Now before I start reading it, I'm just gonna give a little background and why I consider this the theme for like self insert. So around the time I was in the process of writing my first fic, the not my first fic, but my first Black Panther fic, The Rose of Wakanda. And I was writing chapter 5. And if you read that fic and read chapter 5, you understand why I felt the way I felt. So I was feeling really sad while writing it. And so I decided to cheer myself up by writing what was supposed to be a cute little fluffy big sister little sister fic. It didn't end that way because it ended with angst as well. So that happened. And also I was considering I wrote this because at the time I was considering a series that I didn't think anyone would want to read as to where it's a reader insert fic from the point of view of Nakia's little sister, because Nakia's little sister. And they say I was wrong because people actually do like the series, and then when Kaya became an actual character instead of a reader insert character, people really grew to her and like her, and she kind of became her own little essence. And I even working on a crossover with a friend right now where Kaya is the love interest for her original character. So that's actually fun, and I may talk. We may either I or me and her may talk about it someday. So who knows what could happen in the future? Okay. I believe excuse me, you catch me drinking a lot of water. I'm still recovering from a tooth pulling. I'm starting to get a little bit better, but cold water soothes it. Okay. So that's one more thing, and it was something else I was wanna. Oh, I was also trying to say that I've explained this before. I'm gonna explain it again. So part of the reason why I wanted to start this series was because the fandom was lacking Nakia centered fics. So most of the fics that I come across with Nakia in, she shipped with T'Challa, which I don't really have a problem with. It's just that ship is just not like a ship I was like rooting for, so I didn't really care for the ship. I don't really care for the ship, but I tolerate the ship if it's like if they're not the main ship of the story. And the other times I've seen her in Fix, um, she's kind of the villain of the story, but it's more so the thing of she's T'Challa's jealous ex girlfriend, and then it becomes the ex girlfriend when it's like a T'Challa reader fic or T'Challa OC fic, and she over time becomes the villain. And so I kind of wanted something that would like balance her out a bit as far as her appearance, something I could enjoy because she did become my favorite character, and I did not realize how much she was my favorite character until I saw the lack of fix for her. So that's what started the Key and Kaya series, and over time, it be that's how the Malice fic was born. Well, Malice fic I've had inside my head for about 3 years. We talked about that too, and it just I couldn't figure out a plot line, and I finally got it. So that's something I'm gonna be working on once again once the mode is over. No, I think that's all my opening comments for now. So let's get into the reading. So this is a short piece. It's only 879 words. So we can get through this right quick. Maybe just some comments if there are any made during the stream, and that'll be all for tonight. Yeah, allergies. Yeah. Her fingers entangled themselves in your soft clothes, knowing the motion would soothe you. As you relaxed in the small gap between her legs and rested your head in her lap, sighing contentedly. Moments like this are few and far between. With Nakia always chasing the mission, you rarely get moments with just the two of you. Of course, you're always going to cheer her on. She knew this. But there are times where you need your big sister, especially at times like this. I miss her, you said suddenly, causing Nakia to release a sigh. She didn't have to ask who you were referring to because she already knew. So do I, honestly, all the time. You couldn't help but crack a smile at the nickname she has for you. I'm not so little anymore. Nakia chuckled as she grabbed a small patch of your hair and twisted it. I know you have grown into an intelligent and independent young woman, but you'll always be my little one. You smiled even though she could barely see it from the position she was in. Silence fell between you two until you decided to break it. Nakia, yes, I'm Cincy. Why do you go out there, especially after what happened to Umama? She sighed, knowing where this was going. We've talked about this 1,000 times. Her tone was soft enough for you to know that your question didn't annoy her. I know, you responded with a nod. That doesn't mean I don't worry about you. What if I get the call that you trailed off not knowing what not wanting to finish that question. Yeah. Nakia caught on. She remembered the day Bubba got the call about your mama being struck down during the mission and was coming home to be buried. A day that was promised with nail painting, hairstyling, anything that bonded a mother and her two daughters, turned into a day of darkness and despair. You were only 9 at the time, but you knew enough to understand that things were different. Nakia, only being a teenager at the time, tried to take on a motherly role in your life. From then on, she taught you everything you needed to know about puberty and boys, even though you often joked about her its complicated status with the then Prince T'Challa. Do you still have the dreams? She asked after a few minutes of silence. You answered her with a nod. Sometimes you dream about your mama, and they were always the same. She's alive, and you learn that she faked her death to protect Wakanda. They were so real and filled you with bliss to be able to spend time with her again. But then morning would come, and you would wake, finding yourself motherless. Of course, you appreciated the efforts Nakia has put in over the years, but it wasn't the same. I can't lose you both, he said. You hadn't realized you were crying until Nakia pulled you up and began wiping tears from your eyes. You're right, she told you. The world outside of Wakanda can be dangerous, but it's also very beautiful. And I've had the pleasure of seeing some of its beauty. I would love to show it to you someday. You nodded to show that you were listening. But there are also people out there that don't have the luxuries we have here. They're not safe and protected like we are, and they can benefit so much from what we have. I want to help those people. But isn't there another way? You asked, desperate for any solution that didn't involve your big sister putting her life on the line for your country. Nakia answered you with a shake of her head. I wish there was omniscience. You nodded while more tears streamed down your cheeks. Nakia pulled you into a warm hug before her fingers found themselves amongst your clothes again. I can't promise that you won't ever get that call, she said, and you responded with an understanding nod. You were hoping for a but or something to reassure you that things were always going to be all right. To your dismay, it didn't come. After a while, a yawn escaped your lips. You were probably tired from the emotional stress of the conversation. You should sleep, Nakia advised, and you didn't have the energy to argue with her. Can I stay in here with you, please? You didn't want to be in your room by yourself tonight. Nakia nodded. Of course. Once you were tucked in, Nakia reached over to turn off the lamp on the nightstand. Afterwards, she turned towards you and pulled you into her protective hold. Good night, omniscience, she said before planting a sisterly kiss on your forehead. I love you. I love you too. With that, you closed your eyes and drifted off into a peaceful slumber. The next morning, you awoke to an empty bed. Shooting up, you looked around for any signs that your sister's presence was still there, but found none. She was gone again. You didn't know where and you didn't know why. You just hoped that she was helping make the world a better place. Okay, wow. It has been a long while since I actually read that fic. And I have to say, I actually got emotional again as I did when I read it. As far as some of the kind of stylistic choices I made in this fic, it was actually different than where my stylistic choices are now. But honestly, this is still one of my favorite fics. Like I said, it kicked off what became a series, the first fic in what became a series. And if I have to say myself, I think it's actually beautiful, like beautifully written. And I'm actually surprised at myself. I normally not a big fan of my work. So for me to actually look at this and say, "Oh my gosh, this is really incredible," it means so much to me. It's actually kind of building my confidence a bit because my confidence has grown in the past couple of years as far as my writing is concerned, especially now that I'm practicing more. And because I'm working on my first, one of my first novels, because I have like several, it actually is giving me the confidence I need to continue. So I'm actually glad that I did this. Okay, now, um, not to be too harsh on myself, but I could have done better as far as my reading. But I think I chose a good pacing, and I think I set the tone. But if I didn't, you guys can feel free to critique me in the comments. If you're in the chat or you're watching the playback. And so, just I'm actually blown away, like how amazing that was. I'm actually, how amazing I feel about it. So that's all for today. So thank you all for who came in and watched. Thank you all who are going to watch on the playback. And comment down below. What do you think? And also, if you would like to read if you would like to read this fic for yourself on your own time, I have the links to the Key and Kaya series on Wattpad and Tumblr. Feel free to follow me on both. And I also have the link to the AO3 version of this fic, all in the description box. So feel free to read this on your own time. So thank you all again for who came and watched, and also again for those who watch on playback. And I had a wonderful time. So have a good night, good day, good morning, or whatever like time stream you're in at this time. And I don't know. That's it.